I think a lot of people will see this as a tool to track prices, but it's so much more than that. I mean, prices are important, of course, but again, Rupert, to your point about transparency, I think there's a whole nother layer of analysis that needs to go on behalf of a lot of the sourcing people in the industry. They have demands to look beyond just price, understand where the product's coming from and why. Why are there overcapacity problems in segments of the industry in certain parts of the world? Why is that? What happens to it over time? And then to be able to anticipate movement of various products, particularly raw materials, moving around the world.
Yeah. And as we see the industry moving, I mean, maybe 5 years ago, China was the main source for garments in most of the categories, I would imagine. Things are changing, prices are going up, alternatives are being looked at. I think a lot of the brands, certainly what I'm picking up on, is a lot of the brands and the retailers are relying more on their supply chain to make those decisions for them about where to source alternatively. And that's great, and I'm sure that they're doing that because the suppliers are getting ever more sophisticated and you know, their own sort of operations are much better than they used to be, perhaps. But that brand still is putting all their trust in that supply chain to make those decisions for them, and it can only, it could, you know, one day that's fine, but the next day there could be a breaking story because somebody on Twitter has exposed a factory that a leading brand uses that's using child labour. So for the brand to rely on that supply chain is great, but to also use an information service like Resource to just benchmark it themselves so that they're also looking at just double checking where, you know, how the land lies, I think is going to be useful.